going on?
Well, we were just talking, Paul, the weather. Winter storm Fern is rolling into New England here, and some places are going to get feet of snow down in the southern part of New England, Massachusetts, and places like that.
And
we're kind of missing the brunt of it up here in northern Maine.
It's been cold.
It's been very cold. Yeah, we've had the worst of winter here the last few days. We've had somebody told me 26 below last night in a low-lying spot. So
really,
I saw about 20 as far as the official weather in Caribou, but that sits on a hill in Caribou, and it's been below zero during the day. Hasn't got above zero during the day there yesterday, and
today I'm on a hill.
Yeah.
Today I hit 5.
Yeah, you moderate a little better
around,
than
right around. I think it was 2 o'clock or so.
Yeah, yeah. So but as far as winter storm Fern, we're gonna up here. We're gonna and they've gone back and forth. At first they were saying not much snow at all. Now maybe 6 inches in that area up here. So
we could use a little bit.
Yeah, we could use some snow.
That cold weather actually lines up with today's topic. Modern gear versus traditional gear.
Yeah. Yeah.
In relevance to an article I came across, it just got me thinking.
Yeah. And you're talking clothing and,
we'll go the whole 9 yards. But clothing there was an article I come across that was looking at, is there that big of a difference between gear 100 years ago, per se, and modern?
Well, when you had mentioned that, Paul, and I thought, well, the stuff that we wear, you could have wore 100 years ago. Yeah. We still wear the same things that the only difference that I could really, and even then they made rubberized rain gear and stuff 100 years ago, and I do like some of the newer rain gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll jump into that here shortly, but got anything new to add?
Yeah, one other thing there, my neighbors at the camp, Rebecca Borsetti, she got a beautiful brook trout out of...
send me a picture. 3.5 pounds?
3.5 pounds, maybe you can post a picture of it there, Paul. I sent you, I got permission to, I got a hold of them. They gave me permission to, they were going to be in the Derby.
It was Hog Pond.
Pardon me?
Hog Pond.
Yeah. Hog Pond. Yeah.
Was it Friday they caught it?
They caught it Friday before the Derby, and they let it go. They released the fish. Good for them.
It's cold. Yeah,
they're out there, I guess, and I wondered how because I've heard of people canceling as far as reservations to come up, so I'm sure that it was maybe a little more lightly attended than originally.
We had some wind too Friday.
Yeah,
one of those days I forget.
Yeah,
it all kind of blends in together.
Yeah, but it has definitely been cold. Yeah. So any even light breeze makes it feel that much colder. Yeah. Doesn't take much wind to. Yeah.
No, gosh.
So that's about all I have. Saw a few more robins, strangely enough.
It's funny, after you mentioned that, I was driving, it must have been like the day after we did our last podcast. It was pretty close. I was coming down Lower Main Street, and I almost hit a robin.
No kidding, yeah, same thing. I've had a few fly in front of me there, and I'm going, wow. I said, that I hadn't seen any all winter, and there's been the last few winters I've seen them the entire winter.
Yes.
And I hadn't seen any this winter until I think the last podcast we had, I saw one, and I think I've seen 2 since, two robins. Yeah.
I'm still seeing lots of deer around.
Yeah.
And no coyotes. I haven't heard. Usually this time of year, I can be sitting up here in the evening working on stuff, and you can hear them down back, just yipping and going it. And I've gone outside and recorded them before, and I haven't heard anything all.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing.
All winter, so I don't know where they went.
Yeah,
I don't know where they're at. So today, I mean, we're not talking we're not anti-tech by any means.
I love it. At least, I mean, even if you don't want to use the new stuff, it's available if you do.
Yeah.
It's there.
But some of the modern, even, whether it's clothing or what we use for navigation, stuff like that, that even kind of becomes more of a crutch. Some of it more than others, but you can start relying on it more than you think. Mm-hmm. And so just to real quick, I'd come across an article. It's going through the news. I think it was Monday. And, I was always fascinated with people that climb Mount Everest.
Yeah.
It's not anything I would ever want to do. Like I don't have interest in like conquering things for the sake of conquering it, but it's always, what a challenge and what a thing to go through. And especially when you look back to the early days when they found George Mallory's body on Everest, there were some documentaries on it, and that always struck me as very interesting. Because that was 1924 that George Mallory.
Yep.
And
they never really know. They don't think he made it to the top, do they, Paul?
Well, the deal with it is
he wasn't far off.
No. So what brought me to the topic of this was one thing I always thought about, and this was years ago, is you look at what they wore for equipment and gear, and you think, how the heck did they, like, that must have been crazy to do, because it looks like they're wearing hardly anything. It's all wool, silk, and
gabardine
and leather boots, and it was very minimal to what meets the eye. And there was a couple guys from Britain, twins, that did a little study, and it was actually supposed to be a little more elaborate, but it was during COVID, I believe, and funding had run out, and they had to scale it down a little bit. But they're identical twins, and they wanted to compare what George Mallory and Sandy Irvin wore for gear compared to modern day gear, and to see, how much better is modern gear versus, back then. Just to back up to George Mallory, one of the things is he had a picture of his wife.
He was supposed to leave it
at the summit.
And it was on him?
No.
Oh, it wasn't on him? Okay.
Last they were seen, I think they were a few hundred feet from the summit.
Right.
Elevation-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the guy with him, Sandy Irvin, had a camera with him and was going to take pictures. And they're not sure. They can't definitively say, but it's highly suspected that he may have taken a fall coming down, which busted up his leg, I believe, and succumbed on the mountain.
Yeah.
And so he was supposed to have a picture of his wife that he was going to put on the summit, which when they found his body, didn't have it. And they were hoping they'd like to find the camera from Sandy Irvin to see if, that would be proof. They took pictures
right,
of the
exactly.
Summit, but anyway, how does this relate to, Maine? Because Maine's not extreme as Everest, but when you're looking at gear in that situation, because we're big wearers of wool.
Right.
And so did you read the article at all?
I did the Turner twins. I didn't do a deep dive in it, Paul, but I did. And I get the gist of it, and you can talk about that, but I got the gist of what they determined.
And it wasn't super sciencey. Like I said, it was just two guys.
Yeah.
About the most science behind it was they were genetically identical. But all they did, just make it, real quick to not ramble on about it, is they had temperature sensors, say boots, hands, various parts of their body. One wearing George Mallory's gear to the T. And George Mallory had kind of a system of layering, because as you go up, you're taking stuff off, adding it, switching things up. There's kind of a system to it.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of wool, a lot of silk. There was a little bit of cotton in there.
Yeah, cotton was mentioned. And
boots, leather boots, cotton or wool hats and various, I think, rabbit fur was included in there. There was different layers of hats and stuff. So one of the twins wore his gear. The other one wore modern gear. And they climbed up this mountain. It was like a 10-day expedition. They also monitored stress levels. So through cortisol, they would do a saliva test to measure cortisol levels, see how stressed each one was, and compare those. And what was the other thing they did a cognitive test, because as you get higher, right, less oxygen,
right,
and stress will play into that. So they would do a cognitive test where they would pretty simple test where you would give someone a picture of something, of say the color green, but you would have written blue. And so your mind sees that written blue, but the background is green. And so they'd ask you, what color do you see here?
Right.
And how quickly you can differentiate
exactly
what you're reading and what the actual color is.
Yeah.
But what it's doing is it's basically giving a global look at how your cognitive function is, because it's basically two separate sides of the brain that are working there and how quickly you can respond to that. And what the conclusion was, and I would have never expected this, was that there really wasn't that big of a difference in performance from George Mallory's gear that was over 100 years old with modern day equipment. And the big kicker was they saw the biggest drift away from each other as far as temperature and stuff like that when they stopped moving.
Right, inactivity.
And that older gear was designed to constant movement.
Yeah.
And it was surprising. Yeah. And so I'm thinking, I like to wear traditional gear. Maine isn't that extreme. It's not life or death by any means like that.
Well, it can be.
It can be.
It can be,
but not to the extent that
Everest
but it can,
you can you can
if you wear cotton or something.
I've had hypothermia before.
Yep.
So
with modern gear is, especially in the hunting realm, we see like there's a lot of marketing and things become popular, maybe not because they're good per se, but because it becomes trendy. You've been told it's good or something takes off. And one thing with mountaineering gear, especially people that climb Everest, is you kind of get away from the marketing side of things. So whatever they're using for gear, for modern gear, it's going to be the best of the best. It's essentially your life is
your life depends on it. I was just thinking that, Paul.
Highly dependent on it.
And I say that, in Maine, your life can depend on it, but that would be a rare circumstance. But mountaineering, it is it is the circumstance. You are going to run into life and death.
So those guys,
depending on your gear,
all marketing's out the window with them.
Yeah.
And it's strictly business.
Yeah. The best of the best.
Yeah. So to think that over the past 100 years, not that big of a difference.
Right.
It's kind of a kicker. And so if we look at like modern day hunters, it's kind of a continuum, a spectrum of what we use. We all kind of use a blend of everything. Like we do, our clothing is pretty traditional.
Right.
Lots of wool, lightweight.
Yeah.
We're not super bulky, but we use modern navigation.
We do.
And modern optics.
Yeah.
So it's not binary, that people are just, it's all this or all that. There's everything in between. And I think, has it sapped some of the skill out of hunters?
Yeah.
You get out in the woods and like now we use Onyx on our phone.
We do.
I'd hardly ever pull out a compass.
Right.
Keep one on my vest and might make a quick reference.
Yeah.
But it's easy to become very dependent on those things. And there's those days, what if it fails?
Yeah.
Batteries go dead.
Yeah. To this day, Paul, I always have a compass on my vest. And I rather than dig my phone out a lot of time, unless I want an exact location, if I want to hit a road, and I'm on, let's just say, the reality road, and I'm on the north side of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's real simple to just say, take a quick look at your vest if you want to get out and say, I got to go south to hit the reality road. Don't have to be exact, don't have to be precise. But I know that reality road runs from Ashland to Daquam, pretty much east-west. And if I'm on the right-hand side of it going in, I'm on the north side. I know all I got to do is I'm not going to miss it. And you have a very good idea too of different roads or streams or the
Allagash.
The Allagash
River.
South. Yeah, so I've generally that is how I navigate. I have a good idea when I'm in the woods where I've gone in, and I can just look at my compass, take a quick look, and know if I'm heading away from the road or heading towards the road, or when I need to get out. And
landmarks are another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are all little things that can be lost, especially if someone that's new.
Yeah.
Using landmarks and knowing just relatively where you are. That it doesn't require someone to do that. If you got Onyx,
right,
and you're highly dependent on that, those skills kind of go away.
Right.
I think back to the time that, and it's always a good example. You tracked a buck all day long, and this was before GPS. I hunted before GPS was around. There was no. You would have landmarks,
right?
You knew generally where
you had
were.
a compass too, and that's what you used.
And but I mean, quick reference. You pull out a compass, and you're like, okay, there's north. Oh, there's
right.
Anyway, I think that buck that you track into a new road system, and you're like, my truck's over on that, across that valley, over on that next knoll or ridge or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're at a road or an intersection, right?
Yeah.
But the road was cutting back away.
Yeah.
And you just logically were like, the Allagash River is straight ahead. My truck's on that knoll. I really want to take a road back.
Yeah.
But that road's not going.
It didn't start out in the right direction.
No, but it ended up.
But it ended up. It would have taken me right to my truck.
Yeah. But you didn't have
right
GPS technology.
Right. That would have saved me for sure.
It would have. But you took you took the safe bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
As opposed to end up, you didn't know where the road goes.
So I headed west towards the Allagash.
Yeah. And you didn't want to walk through the woods at night.
No, I knew where the truck was. I could have, and it was getting dark, and I didn't want to go down through the valley, and bushwhack through the valley at dark. So I stayed on the road and made a long hike of it, but made it out to the truck. So
we'll circle back in a minute to that gear that they tested out climbing. But just real quick, where modern gear is generally better. And I was just going through a list of things. So obviously safety, GPS, stuff like that. People use InReach. Accessibility. Some of the modern technology allows hunters that normally wouldn't be able to get out and hunt to get out and hunt. Maybe some ethical stuff, more accurate rifles, optics, higher quality shots.
Yeah.
And then comfort. Especially if you're a sitter, there's gear that would be fantastic for someone that can keep them sitting all day. But I think where the problem lies is we can end up having kind of blind faith in this stuff. Like I said, it kind of creeps in.
Yeah.
You've got this thing that makes your life a little bit easier. You've got this that makes your life easier. And then before you know it, you've lost the ability to.
I could see where you were mentioning, Paul, that, you and especially me hunted without this stuff. So we would be probably comfortable if it failed.
Yeah.
But somebody who has never, ever had to rely on anything but a piece of electronics to navigate in the woods, if it failed, they may panic. They may not be clear-headed, and where they have only relied on that in their hunting life.
And that creates a whole nother dynamic of poor decision making.
Yeah.
When you start panicking on, you're like, my GPS is broke.
Right.
Or the batteries are dead.
Yeah.
What the frig do I do?
Yeah.
And if you don't have that comfort originally, or force yourself to maybe kind of put yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
To get a little experience with it.
It is a big convenience, Paul. Not so much but I even on a lot of the hunting shows I see, after you shoot a deer, most trackers they're not sure exactly where they are.
No.
And just like we did this year, and we've done it a number of times. We've done it a lot. After we've shot a deer, we pull out our GPS and we're looking for the closest road.
That was the biggest.
And that's a convenience.
That was the biggest convenience with me when GPS first came on the market. I didn't use a GPS at all for like figuring out where I was.
Right, to navigate.
Like I can remember, and they weren't accurate when they first came out. They were purposefully off.
Right.
What was it? Because of government legal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was a government
defense, safety reasons or whatever. There was concerns of.
Yeah.
If anyone remembers that,
I do.
I can remember in high school, there was a margin of error built into them.
Yeah.
So you couldn't exactly pinpoint.
Yeah.
But I just remember being so excited about the fact, wow, I can mark the truck and then at the end of the day be like, oh, there's a road right here.
Right.
As opposed to, maybe me backtracking or taking a bearing back that way through the woods.
Yeah.
Or the bigger thing was shooting a deer and then being able to get as close to that deer as physically possible with a pickup.
Mm-hmm.
So you shoot it, you mark it, get out to the truck, drive to another road
to reduce the drag distance as much as you could. And and like I say, I've seen a lot of, and I'm sure everybody does it when trackers, especially when they've shot a deer, because we go where the deer goes, and we're not 100% sure when after you've harvested the deer just exactly where you are and where the closest road is. But with that,
I can remember when that came out. I was pumped.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and we've used it to for,
and not just that, like you shoot a deer and then you hike out to get some help or something in the middle of nowhere. Like you shot one time at the end of the day. But you picked up his track at like 2:00 and you shot him just before dark and hiked out, and the guys went back in that night.
Yeah.
But in a situation like that, what if it starts snowing?
Yeah.
The landscape changes incredible. It looks totally foreign when you get some snow.
That would have been, you're absolutely correct. So that was pre-GPS.
Yep.
And I was on a road, and I was on the north side of the road. And of course, like you say, we had snow. So there was no problem following our foot. All I knew was I had to walk south back to hit this, had to cross a little brook, and then I came out to a road. And navigating, I didn't walk in the same way I walked out. I didn't follow my tracks out. I just followed my compass south, and I knew I'd hit this road. And then the guys went back in. All they had to do, but you're right. If it had been bare ground,
or you get
a
snow squall, put down an inch or two of snow.
Yeah, but that would have been, I wouldn't have been able to leave the deer.
No.
If it had been bare ground.
Yep.
Either that, I'd have to mark the trees.
Yep.
And hope that
Even your deer this year, right? Yeah. That cut, everything looks the same.
Yeah.
It's a huge cut.
Yeah.
And you get away from the deer and you're thinking, is it over this way? You could turn the GPS on. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's over.
237 yards to the truck.
It's over that way.
Yeah, I think I looked at it there, and it was 237 yards to the truck. So the quickest way.
So, without that stuff, there's a whole nother, it can be hard to, if you don't have her flagged well.
No.
And even then, doesn't Larry Benoit, wasn't in their first book, he had a story of off the Norris Branch. Was that the buck?
Yeah, the Norris Branch. Yeah, off the Norris Branch, the buck that he supposedly got snowed in on.
Which
and
there's some.
We won't go.
Skepticism whether that's true or not, but it's a great story.
Yeah, it's a great story.
It's a great story to kind of get you going.
Yeah.
And supposedly it was the biggest buck that he'd ever shot, and
there's some really good stories that follow that. I don't think we should probably get into that.
No,
we've heard a continuation of that story that wasn't in the book. So, that probably a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah. So but modern deer does have a price.
Yeah.
So situational awareness, right? Overdependence, and it really ends up being, it's not really confidence, but convenience.
Yeah.
When you realize that, wow, I can't function without it. Also shortens the learning curve, so you can get people that have never hunted big woods before.
Right.
And now they can just go in and not, they have the ability to be like, oh, I just turn this on. I can find my way out, no problem. And if she goes haywire,
right,
what are you going to do?
You got to have plan B.
Yeah.
And hopefully even the plan C. They tell you to carry more than one compass. And so that confidence, and like you say, Paul, there's no substitute for knowledge and confidence in using that knowledge and stuff. Knowing how to use other methods to find your way around the woods and the confidence, to use it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because all that stuff breaks.
Yeah.
And it allows you to, one, have a safer hunt, but have a more enjoyable hunt when you have confidence to be able to be like, well, whatever happens, I'm good to go.
Let's just imagine you were in of course you were, but that's the way it is now all through the woods. Where you shot your deer this year, let's just imagine your GPS didn't work. Now you could have walked in any one direction and
hit a road.
The problem is you don't know how far, because you knew one road runs basically, it's not completely south north, but kind of a southwest northeast, the main road going in. And you were in a circle anyway that you could have.
You're pretty well, like, like it was a huge block.
It was,
But that, okay, if I walk this direction, I'm going to hit this road. If I headed out to the right, I'm going to hit the main road eventually, long ways away.
Yeah. That's the thing you don't know, how far you are going to have to walk. But you could have done it. You're a fast walker. You could, in any direction, you're going to get out pretty darn quick.
Yeah, there's lots of roads, even an old...
Probably less than an hour.
Well, and then the other thing, if you come to a skid trail,
yes,
you just start following skid trails out, and you're going to come to something a little more modern eventually. Because they had to get those logs out somehow.
Yeah.
So, you're never far from...
Skid trails go somewhere.
Yeah, you're never far from a skid trail. Yeah, there's no such thing as someone just dropping a skidder with a helicopter in the middle of the woods and there's your cut. So back to that test with George Mallory's gear. The biggest takeaway from it is George Mallory and those climbers they knew what to expect from their gear and they knew how to use it. And that's important, knowing the limitations of your gear.
Yeah.
Right? They knew that they weren't going to bivvy on the side of a mountain wearing that equipment.
Right. Keep moving.
Yeah. And our clothing is the same way. I go really light.
Yeah.
And probably at someone from the outside looking in would think, even on the coldest of cold days, like a day like today, we've hunted in colder weather than this.
Yeah.
I really don't change it up much.
Yeah.
Maybe a knit hat or something. Maybe a pair of insulated boots. Because I know I'm going to be moving and I will stay comfortable. I won't get overheated.
Right.
I won't get cold. I kind of I understand how that works and what its limitations are.
Right.
But there's nuances with every hunter. And I think one thing, especially experience teaches you as a hunter, is people have varying degrees of things they can tolerate and they have differences in how their bodies function. Some people, like for me, my hands get cold really easy. I think I've got a touch of Raynaud's.
Mm-hmm.
And my fingers will sometimes struggle even on a warm day. They'll get cold. So I gotta have good gloves with me.
Yeah.
Most of the time, have some way to keep my hands warm. Maybe someone else, it's their feet. Maybe their feet don't get cold very easily, and they can go lighter there. There's a lot of little nuances to what someone's quote unquote kit could be to hunt with. But the big takeaway from these two guys, which is a way more extreme than Maine,
right,
is it. And I really would have 100% would have said, yeah, when you get into mountaineering and you're talking,
when your life depends on it,
there's got to be a big difference.
Yeah,
and there wasn't.
Yeah.
And if anyone's familiar with George Mallory, what they looked like.
I saw the pictures.
It's like, and even weight wise, it wasn't that.
They look like a bunch of waifs there.
It's like, how do you climb Mount Everest with that?
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah. I saw the pictures there and stuff. And like I say, they look like a bunch of street urchins or whatever there with their, back in England with their wool jackets. And
And it doesn't look, it's not bulky.
No.
It's quite thin looking.
Yeah.
And you just, you imagine, like, how the heck can someone climb? They must have been crazy.
Yeah.
And like, actually, no, they just knew how it worked and knew how to use it and what its limitations were.
When you had talked about the subject, I thought, well, what are some of the things that I would use that maybe were made over 100 years ago and are still perfectly functional, maybe in some regards better than today's, and some of the wool clothing might be in that category. But let's talk about some rifles.
Yeah.
The first semi-auto hunting rifle was John Moses Browning in 1908, the Model 81 Remington. And, we have one of them. We have the second gen, but it's the exact same rifle. Yeah. The wood was changed on it, the forearms and the stock was changed on it. Other than that, it's the same. Those were marvels of technology and craftsmanship. Yeah. And it was reliable, and it's a fantastic rifle.
Yeah.
The downside of that rifle is it's heavy, and it wasn't made for a scope. So
and it's a little awkward carrying it.
Yeah, it's heavy.
It's
a great big piece of steel.
It has that receiver.
But you could easily, and another one I think about is the 788 Remington that was made. It started in 1967 to 1983.
Yours is a tack driver.
$90.
Son of a gun.
$90. And it was no frills. I mean, it was a birch stock, no checkering, nothing. But that gun was a fantastically engineered gun. And to this day, there's probably not a lot of guns that can outshoot that gun.
You shot a 3-shot group. What was that?
.43. And I'm not a shooter.
No.
So it was sub half-inch MOE.
Yeah.
And I'm not a shooter.
Now, there was a little bit of work done to it.
Yeah, the stock was bedded, and I put on a mid-range scope, and not a high-end scope. I put on a 10-power scope.
And it has a Timney trigger.
It has a Timney trigger on it. And so that's and I read quite a bit on that. You could buy that gun in the late 1960s for $90.
That's insane.
And I would use that gun today and have full confidence in it. But it had a scope on it from that era. But I wouldn't use the scope. I think optics have come a long way in those.
Yeah,
but as far as the gun, it's not.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get a big jump in quality and performance from 1967 to 2026.
You'll get something that may look nicer.
Yeah, it's going to be fancier. Yeah. It's going to be lighter. You're going to have.
It's going to cost a heck of a lot more.
And you're going to have a choice of a synthetic stock, which this one is. But as far as just the performance and the quality of the gun, you're probably not going to. You're probably not going to get a better gun. So, optics, I would change. I had a Weaver wide view, and that was all clouded up, and took that off, and. So,
yeah, the thumbnail actually for this podcast, I got your Model 81 out.
Oh, no kidding. What a coincidence.
Took a picture with it.
Yeah.
With a compass and stuff and traditional gear.
Yeah. But you could use that gun today.
So while I had it in my hands,
right?
I pulled it up a few times just because I got a wicked, and probably most hunters do. I daydream a lot about different things.
Yeah.
And just picture yourself. Like, what would it be like in the woods, seeing a deer, and it's heavy, like you said.
Yeah, it is heavy,
and carrying it's a little awkward down by the side, but you could
easily use that. The one drawback is it's not made to put a scope on or anything like that. And I got one more gun to mention too, and it's still used today quite a bit. Is the Model 99 Savage.
Oh, yeah.
1899, that gun was designed by Arthur Savage, and and there again a wonder of engineering and stuff. The rotary magazine inside, and the cartridge counter,
and then when we were sitting there with Fred and Arthur, some of the pictures there had.
Did they have them? They were made over 1 million of them.
That's crazy.
And the only reason they stopped making them was they were just too costly to make. It was pretty intricate that it was just too costly to make and try to sell for a reasonable price. Yeah. But just a fantastic gun that can match anything in engineering today.
Crazy.
And that was 1899 when that was designed. So
yeah. Well, heck, I mean, I shot my first deer with a Model 94.
there you another one, the old lever action, dependable, and fully functional, and you could use that today. And and the one thing the 99 had over your gun is you could mount the 99 Savage was side ejection, so you could put a scope on it better than a Winchester lever action. So yeah, that was I kind of enjoyed going through that article and realized, hey, the big takeaway is there might be a little bit of a difference in modern gear, but not as much as we as we think. Yeah. And that article really. Yeah, we could go out today, Paul, and you and I be comfortable and go out deer hunting with everything that was over 100 years old. Yeah. I mean, we've done it. There was a couple, we had 2 falls there at camp that, boys, it was cold and snowy early in the year. Well, we had tracking snow from October. Because we basically wear wool gloves. I mean, wool gloves have been around for a long time, wool hats and stuff, and wool socks. And there, I thought of everything that I use, rubber boots. Well, rubber boots, the vulcanization and everything came about in 1853. Yeah. So Wellington boots, the wellies there they were first made in 1853. So rubber boots have been around, and that's what we use, basically, just all rubber boots. Yeah, pretty simple. Pretty simple. Doesn't have to be complicated. Yeah. So I thought about that when you mentioned I thought, we literally, and of course just a compass, we could go out and be perfectly happy with stuff that's everything being over 100 years old. Yeah. So, and I'm not looking to make a fashion statement. There's one thing that the optics is, as I've gotten older, my eyesight, and so having glasses and a good scope, and good binos, I could live without the binos, but I couldn't live without the glasses in the outdoors now. Yeah. So it's good to have. It's good to be able to mix the new technology with the old. There's some things that it's a great blend. Yeah, and most people do. And most people do. And some people want all new stuff. When up to date guns, up to date clothing, and good for them. There's the market's there for you. It is. Yeah. They'll sell it to you. Yeah. No questions asked. Yeah. And eventually, Paul, and you can get into fly rods and into bows and stuff, and technology kind of hits a wall after a while. I was reading an article about the bows. The first compound bow was around 1967 by, his name was Allen. I think it was Hiram Allen, and he never mass produced it. He invented it, but he sold it to Tom Jennings and Jennings Bow, and then there was big strides made in bow hunting equipment. But now we're at a point where they say that 370 feet per second FPS. You start making. They pretty much hit a wall. You start just making little, tiny. Yeah. So they're saying they're probably and I should say never, but not going to gain any more speed. But they may be able to. At that speed, it's very difficult. They say to keep your arrow flight or whatever correct. You have to be a very good archer to keep if there's any mistake on your part, it can affect the arrow flight a lot. And it's funny you say that. I think I just watched a clip of Cam Haynes shooting a new bow. It was a 90-pound bow. Yeah. And 90 pounds, that's a big bow. You got to be a good man to pull that back. It was going right straight through his target. Yeah. That's the problem shooting it wouldn't catch it. Yeah. Right through it. Yeah. You wouldn't be able to practice very well. 90 pounds, man. That's. Yeah. Well, like I say, they may tweak the technology a bit in materials that they make the bow out of, and vibration and stuff like that. Sometimes they just add a new name. Yeah. They just remarket it. Yeah. Repackage it. Yeah.
It's
But
really the same thing.
basically,
Look at fly rods.
right. Well, that was my next.
I mean, since the advent of the HMG,
1973.
boys, I'll tell you what, there's not a big, I mean, they started doing put some boron in it and they come up with fancy names, but the jump from glass to graphite was huge. I learned with a stinking Fenwick glass rod, that thing as a 5-year-old or 6-year-old, my little wrist.
Yeah.
And I can remember fishing a stream with you, like my arm would get so tired.
Yeah.
And you had a little Fenwick HMG, I think it was a 7.5 foot that you used for streams, a little tiny reel on it. Yeah. You're like, here, use mine for a little bit. Holy cow. Yeah. It was just like
So I have one of the very original, I have an 8.5 foot HMG. I use it to troll now, Paul. I've actually changed the eyes on it. The wrappings come undone, which is to be expected in that amount of time.
Stuff decays.
But you're right. The Don and Jim Green designed the first graphite rod for Fenwick in 1973.
And
it would still be perfectly functional today.
I would use one.
Yeah, perfectly functional. And like you say, now they're just advancing. It's such a small increment that a rod you bought 10 years ago, a good rod you bought 10 years ago isn't outdated by any stretch of the imagination.
No, that jump from fiberglass to
fiberglass came around the mid-40s, 46 or something like that, when they were making fiberglass rods, and I have some of those. I have a number of fiberglass rods, and
you get people that still want to use them.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
or
an old glass rod,
split
different
cane.
action. I want to get a nice bamboo rod. I'd love to have a nice split cane rod. I'd like to have a kind of a famous one.
Yeah,
and I eventually will get to it. And it'd be great to fish some small streams with. What a great way to catch some little brook trout on.
I think that's where a split cane would
be so much fun.
A bamboo rod would do well in a small stream. They're soft and
it'd be so much fun.
They would work really good in I don't know if you'd want them out in a big lake or river punching out a lot of line.
I'm trying to put out like on a pond,
90 feet of line or whatever, but in a small setting, they'd be a lot of, and even on a pond, if you didn't need to cast far, they'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, great. I think we went quite a while.
Yeah.
But I guess some take-home points is can't forget your skills. It travels with you.
No, knowledge is power.
Gear can stay in the pack. You can forget stuff, but what you know, it's always there. Tap into.
Yeah, the 7 inches between the ears.
That's
Paul,
right.
Is that?
That's right. You forget your GPS in the truck or something, but
that wouldn't bother me.
I'm not walking back to get it.
No, that wouldn't bother me. Like I say,
no.
I more use that if I am successful, just to look for a close road that I don't know about. A little skid trail that I could hit or whatever. As far as getting out of the woods, I don't need a GPS. Not especially today with the woods in the North Maine.
No.
So and it's like I say, it's great that you have.
It's good to have options.
If people want it, it's there. If they want the latest and greatest, it's there. If they like to go more traditional, and there again, even in bow hunting, there's a lot of people that just like to a stick and a string, and they and it works.
Yeah, it does.
in the right hands.
Yeah, it'll get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if someone doesn't know who George Mallory is,
look it up.
Check it out.
It's history. It's interesting stuff.
Interesting. I went through a phase there where I enjoyed reading about Everest, and I have no interest in, and I totally can't wrap my mind around why someone would want to do that.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
I think back in the day, I was reading books on it and stuff. I think it was like an $80,000 venture to
so I got to bring that book to you that George Solomon loaned me there, The Lore of the Labrador Wild, because that's about the same line. They went on this expedition up in Labrador, and the stuff they had at the time was was minimal. And it was they just made some mistakes, and then made some poor decisions, and they paid for it. But their equipment, Paul, was they
basic.
At that time, they had what they had, and so
it's tough guys, not as tough as we thought.
Yeah,
because like I said, when I would previously read about George Mallory and stuff, man, these guys are like beyond human.
Yeah,
right, doing this stuff, and then you start, coming to like, no, they actually had stuff figured out that worked for them.
Yeah,
and it wasn't as far-fetched as it appears 100 years later.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that, and not to drag it on, but I mean, there's been people that have lived in extreme cold environments and you look at what they used. I was reading about some Native Americans when you talked about this, and they, up in the Northwest, they would take seal and bear gut, and they could make strips of their gut and put them on clothing and stitch it, and it looked really good. And it was waterproof and windproof.
No kidding.
Yeah. So they could have a windproof parka.
Problem solved.
And you talk about how warm that would be with the fur on the inside, and then the waterproof, the gut on the outside to make a waterproof coating.
Yeah.
And they lived in harsh environments, and they found a way.
They did it.
And they used what they had.
Yep.
And they survived.
Yep.
So we wouldn't want to go up there, Paul, with all our modern gear and spend a week.
No.
They've lived there for...
No, right now I don't want to go outside.
No, I know.
I had some stuff to do outside, and I'm like...
Yeah.
We get soft.
Yeah.
We like our creature comforts.
Yeah. Once in a while, it's good to push yourself. And,
it is.
And get out and test yourself. And
so I always enjoy talking about gear, thinking about...
Yeah.
I like my traditional stuff.
Yeah, well,
just gives me the warm and fuzzies.
I'm wearing it right now. I got a wool vest on, and
I like the smell, I like the feel.
Yeah,
I like the look. I think it's making a little bit of a comeback too. Yeah. I'm seeing more red checkered stuff, and I like the old buffalo
I don't imagine I'll ever get rid of. I'll ever make the switch, Paul.
No,
In fact, I've got my eye on another piece of wool clothing that.
Who is it?
I'll tell you after the podcast there, so you can.
I don't want
you to holler at me during the podcast.
Okay. So. All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. We'll do it again next week. Oh, and then we're gonna have a couple guests on here shortly. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. That'll be looking forward to it. Get some more stories to share with that. So, all right. I guess that's all she wrote. Time to go freeze our butts off.
Yeah.
I guess till next time, get outside.
It's good for the soul.
See ya.